I never saw an Oprah Winfrey sketch in my life until you two were on. And they go, oh, one could play Stedman, one could play Oprah at the same time.
And no, what SNL will say one can play Oprah and one can play Gail.
Oh, there you go.
They won't have no Stedman. But yeah, man, hey, I put it to you this way. You don't necessarily know what you're walking into until you get there. And after a year, you're just blessed to be there. And then after a while, you want to shine. And then after a while, you're like, all right, I get it. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. So either you're ready to go or you're ready to stay. But I think they have a hard time with the whole, African-American thing and just, because they love the funny. They fall in love with the funny. But then you don't necessarily have anybody that can write your point of view. So it's up to you. So you go in the room and you try to hammer out something and you.
In all fairness, though, it's up to you.
It's up to you.
White or black.
Yeah,
like,
it's up to you.
Nobody was writing for me.
Right.
And no one was writing for Sarah Silverman or David Tell or Laura Keitlinger. So it don't, like, as a white guy looking in, like just fucking straight talk, it seems like, wow, if I was black, sometimes I think it would be easier to be, and just blow the shit out of the water if it's ridiculous what I say. I'm just being honest with you, how white people think. You go, well, if I'm the black guy in SNL, I can automatically, right now I'm thinking of 40 characters I could play because I'm the black guy.
Right.
And no one needs, and I could just snow these people into thinking like, man, what'd you say? What?
Right.
Like, I would just fucking, like, I think Tracy did that a lot. Like, man, you don't even know where I'm coming from.
Right.
You gotta trust me. He lives in the sewer.
Right.
He loves her.
Right.
He loves her in the sewer.
Right. I was the same way. I was like, it's R. Kelly. It's R. Kelly. You don't know R. Kelly? And then it was just like, no. I'm like, he's big. He's huge. Then the next week they'd be like, hey, can't you play Little John? And I'm like, Chappelle just did Little John all last year. But SNL is always a year behind with who they recognize as worthy to do. So it's kind of frustrating for black people because you write somebody that's popular that'll cross over for pop culture, but they don't necessarily trust it. So unless you Tracy telling them to trust you, they're not going to listen to Finesse. They ain't even know my name half the season. They call me Fitness. So it's just like...
It seems like SNL does seem to lag a bit pop culture wise, and then every once in a while, the stars line up where they absolutely get it completely right. But more so with political stuff, like when the political stuff
election year,
it's way smarter than me.
Absolutely, election year.
That shit's smarter than what I write. Like I can't write a debate between like Dennis Kucinich, I can't. They'll write a sketch between the 7th and 8th place finishers in the Democratic National Convention. And I'm like, I don't even know what fucking state this guy's from. Like, this is way over my head. But Al Franken apparently knows who they are.
I think I could write that type of stuff if I had put my mind to it. I was just lost. I had no clue. When I was on SNL, I had no clue what I was doing. I would just show up like a robot and just want to be funny and want to be on TV. And then when I kind of finally started to get it, I was already off the show. So that's really my 3 years on that show. Love it to the day I die. Loved everybody I work with. Love the experience. But I didn't get it till I left the show. You know what I mean? And trying to figure it out week after week when I was in the moment, it was a headache. I'd rather
Don't you think now if you went back you would dominate?
I'd be a star. I'd be a star because I know what they want. I know what they're looking for. And even if they said no, I wouldn't take it the way I took it back then. Because week after week, I had them coming up to me telling me why they didn't pick my sketch. And that was just a tired conversation for me. Because sometimes, if it's not funny, it's not funny. But sometimes when you hit a home run. Yeah. And like you said, the stars line up, and they still didn't pick it, which happens to everybody on the show. Everybody complains. But sometimes it would hurt just as hard because you don't get that shot again until maybe another black star can host the show, which is another 6 shows down the road. You know what I mean?
Who were the hosts that were black when you were on?
Queen Latifah, Janet Jackson, and Halle Berry.
Did she bring the 45 King?
Huh?
Did she bring the 45 King? That was her DJ.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
You don't know?
No.
Yeah,
her guy. You talking about La?
Yeah, her DJ was the Guru had premiere. She had the 45 King.
She was good, though.
All right, so Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
Did you say
Janet Jackson?
Janet Jackson.
And Halle Berry.
Those 3?
Al Sharpton.
Reverend
Al.
Friend of the show. Friend of Mohr Sports. He came on Mohr Sports. That guy would fucking do anything just to have fun.
Al is a I can't even do Al, but he's just
he was just hanging out. Like like his car was in the studio, like waiting for him. And we're like, could you just shoot these fake commercials? And he's like, sure. Yeah. And he just looks into the camera, and goes, what kind of hair product do you use? Like anything we wrote, he would say, and he's like, I'm just having a good time.
Yeah. Al is a good dude, man.
When you saw a black host on the board, for those of you at home, there's a board with like thumbtacks, and there'll be hosts up, some are cemented in because they got premieres and movies and stuff coming out. When you see a black name go up on the board, you start, at the time, are you generating more content because you know your odds are better of getting on because of the black host?
And it's different because you have people saying, hey, I got an idea for you. And you're like, really? So, it's different. You see a black host, you get excited. Now, it's really bad if you see a black host and you get squeezed out of the show. And you're like, man, I can't even get on the Janet Jackson show. But when Janet Jackson came on, I was in like 4 sketches. So I was happy.
You would think a black host would sort of go to bat for you, too. Because you have your sensibilities are more similar than just the nerdy comic book guy that lives with his parents on the Upper East Side that's white. Like Janet Jackson in the room with Lauren goes, well, I thought this was, I just thought it was funny.
I'm going to keep it really real, son. I will have every black host, and sometimes, different hosts, didn't matter what color. I would have some people come up to me and say, man, I really loved your sketch. I wanted to do it, but, and then I would have somebody from the show, like, Hig or, come up to me and say, yeah, they liked it, but they didn't want to do it. So I'd be confused. And then you can't keep going back and forth and saying, well, he said you didn't want.
The shit's dead.
Yeah, it's dead. And either way, it's not going to get on.
Like
so
Jesus
why
bringing Lazarus back to life?
So let it go, man.
It's dead.
Finesse Mitchell was all about the after party.
Really?
Yeah, man, I loved him. Horatio Sands was in charge of all our after parties. And when I was there, they was banging. I'm not going to even lie. And everybody came to him. So I kind of look forward more so to the after party and waving good night.
I didn't know that Horatio Sands was that
He
fun.
was the ticket dude. He was the dude that would tell people what the after was, and he never let people down. You know what I mean? And they said as soon as he left, I said, Keenan, how the after? Oh, he's, man, I don't go to him no more. It ain't the same. So, I got, SNL was a good time, man. I was blessed to have that opportunity. I say what's up to all them cats. I just did a show with Jay Farrell, the other day.
He's the kid that does Denzel?
Yeah, he's about to do Obama, I think, hopefully. This is his year. Fred Armisen is leaving, I think, or not going to do it, so this is Jay's year. And so now, I go around the country touring, doing my thing.
You got October dates?
I got an October date at Phoenix Stand Up Live, Scottsdale, Phoenix. You ready? October 4th, one night only. That's a Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Get your tickets. Finesse Mitchell and Friends.
How come only one night?
One night. I'm going in just to test the market because I never played it. So sometimes what I like to do is
test the market?
I'm telling you, man.
That's the whitest shit I ever heard in my life.
That's what I do, man.
We're going to get a focus group up and running. Finesse will come in for a night. We'll see how it translates through our urban audience.
Here's the deal, though. You go in. See, you, Jay Mohr. You can go in and get your big-time corporate gigs, and then you can do your improvs and da-da-da. Me, I say, let me go in, let me get an off night, let me get the door, and let me see what I can do because y'all will lie and fudge the numbers, and I don't know what I did on a Thursday through Sunday. So let me see what I can do on a Thursday. Give me the door.
That's a good room. Joel will do
baka.
He'll do right by you. You gotta just hit that radio, bro.
Yeah.
Hello,
radio podcast.
Isn't it amazing how much we all got to do radio at this? You would just, because you would think like you just go to a town, there's a comedy club, and they go, oh, Finesse Mitchell is here. We should go. It'll be fun. No one has any idea. The comedy club evaporates the minute they walk out the door of the comedy club. And they don't even know the comedy club's in the town until you go on Tim and Willie.
Right.
You got to go on Tim and Willie.
Who's Tim and Willie?
It's a country western station.
In what market?
In Phoenix. And
really?
You will sell more tickets with those two hillbillies than you'll sell, and they're fun.
So if I hit them up and Jay Mohr said I should come on your show.
You say, Jay told me I need to go on Tim and Willie, and I'll text Joel now if you want and say, make sure you put Finesse on Tim and Willie.
Cool.
Those are good dudes, man. And
cool.
And if you're friendly with them, you'll have a friend for a decade. They'll always have you come through.
All right. I'm going to do it.
So you send in your tape. It gets down to 16
It's down to 8.
Who were some brothers that were on the list that didn't make it, where you were surprised they didn't make it? I mean, in a complimentary way. Where you were how did he not
D-Ray was funny.
Yeah.
JB Smooth was hilarious.
They're probably scared of D-Ray.
Probably,
D-Ray doesn't look like he's going to fit in the company mold.
D-Ray looked like he would have been on that show for at least 3 or 4 months.
And say, man, fuck you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a very
JB would have played the game. I was on an intramural.
JB would have played the game.
Were you on the basketball team with us and Chelsea Piers?
Uh-uh.
JB was out there trying to dribble between his legs.
I love JB Smooth.
Turnover Central.
That's my dude. We just hung out last night. I don't know where we were, but...
It was last night.
It was last night.
You fucking alcoholic.
Oh, yeah. JB, we went to dinner.
Maybe you should stop drinking. We just hung out last night. I don't know where we were. That's what you just said.
I know. We just hung out last night. Yeah, we went to a restaurant opening premiere.
You, JB, D-Ray. So basically everybody that was on that Tony Rock's breath. Everybody that was on that conference call wound up in the final 8. Like it was like
it was Kevin Hart wasn't there. He's not hurting for anything. He's doing great right now.
Damn, he's funny.
Isn't he just blowing up
He's like
people, if you're listening, I'm just as funny as Kevin Hart. You hear me coming to your city,
taller.
you gotta go. You gotta go check me out.
And big defensive back muscles.
I just finished my 1-man, 1-hour comedy special called One Man Monster. I shot it in Atlanta. I'm so excited about it.
Okay, I got to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I know your stand-up. I've known you a long time from the Boston Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how funny you are.
Mm-hmm.
But the pictures of that shit on your website look like a Halloween catalog.
You're
You're in like the pirate costume. You're in a tux. You're in a straight jacket, and then you're in like the pirate with like a fake bird on your shoulder, like you're in that LL Cool J movie on the boat.
Somebody asked me,
and I'm like, what kind of one man show is this? Is this like the that store Oz?
Yeah.
AAAHS, where they sell all the Halloween shit.
Mm-hmm.
Party City did your one man show?
When I tell you, when you see it, you're going to be like, dang, Finesse really went in.
You're proud
But
of it?
the promo, I'm really proud of it. The promo of it, though, is, just me being all types of funny characters. So it's just me on stage doing stand-up. When you see it, you're going to be like, yo, I didn't know dude was that funny. Because I didn't, my last special was back in 2006 called Snap Famous. You guys can go to FinesseMitchell.com and get Snap Famous. But this new one, it's going to be pretty good, Jay. You're going to be proud of your boy.
And make sure if you want to go to Amazon through the J. Mohr link, get Finesse's book, Your Girlfriends Only Know So Much.
Did you know I was an author? Did you know I did that?
I did not know until I did a little homework
research
on Finesse, Lord Finesse Mitchell, Finesse for President,
Yes,
Finesse the Great.
I was writing for Essence Magazine a long time. I had the first relationship book for a comic other than he's just not that into you. I sent my book to Steve Harvey, and a year later he came out with Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. What up, Steve? Anyway, so he blew up off of that. But I have a very funny relationship book.
Wait, you were writing
women.
for Essence Magazine?
Yes, had my own column monthly.
And that was a relationship column?
Yep.
And then you wrote a book?
Your Girlfriends Only Know So Much.
And then you shared that book with Steve Harvey?
Absolutely.
And then Steve Harvey comes out with a similar book?
A year and a half later.
Was any of the material over
No,
that?
you want to know what? I'm going to be honest. I never read his book. I never read it. I didn't want to read it and be like, man, I was already kind of hurt enough that I knew his book was going to blow up because he had the radio behind him and he was already
Nephew Tommy
syndicated.
was pushing it.
Yeah, once you got Nephew Tommy, what else you need, brother?
Steve Harvey's one of those guys. I like when black guys have really weird wigs and shit, and then they finally realize it's cool to be bald.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they're just fucking bald, like Steve Harvey. Like when MJ had the receding hairline.
Yes.
And then MJ was like, "Fuck this, I'm bald." MJ, 23 is bald.
Right.
I'm not going out like
I remember
fucking Gordon from Sesame Street.
Cedric the Entertainer told us all a story one day how Steve did some city and he had bombed. But I think it was his home city. I forgot what city it was. And
Cleveland, I think he's from.
He's from, well, no, I think this happened down in Texas. I may have information wrong. But apparently he got so frustrated he came off stage and took his wig off.
Man, I told you to get my funny wig. This is my sound check wig.
Yeah.
He took his wig off.
He took his wig off. He was so frustrated.
Black people wear a lot of wigs. Black women wear wigs.
That's the style now, man. They call lace fronts.
Yeah, but if a white woman showed up at work with a wig, everyone would whisper like, I think she's sick.
Well, white
She's
women
not
have
well.
fusion, right? They have extensions fused into their regular hair so it looks fuller.
Right.
But they don't make a lot of fake hair that you can fuse into black women's hair. So they got to go with the whole wig.
I thought that was the whole game. Like, girl, my tracks is messed up on my weave.
Well,
I thought that was the whole thing, like women getting their hair done.
A weave are pieces of hair. I hammer out something and you.
In all fairness, though, it's up to you.
It's up to you.
White or black.
Yeah,
like,
it's up to you.
Nobody was writing for me.
Right.
And no one was writing for Sarah Silverman or David Tell or Laura Keitlinger. So, it don't, like, as a white guy looking in, like just fucking straight talk, it seems like, wow, if I was black, sometimes I think it would be easier to be, and just blow the shit out of the water if it's ridiculous what I say. I'm just being honest with you, how white people think. You go, well, if I'm the black guy in SNL, I can automatically, right now I'm thinking of 40 characters I could play because I'm the black guy.
Right.
And no one needs, and I could just snow these people into thinking like, man, what'd you say? What?
Right.
Like I would just fucking, like, I think Tracy did that a lot. Like, man, you don't even know where I'm coming from.
Right.
I never saw an Oprah Winfrey sketch in my life until you two were on. And they go, oh, one could play Stedman, one could play Oprah at the same time.
And no, SNL will say one can play Oprah and one can play Gail.
Oh, there you go.
They won't have no Stedman. But yeah, man, hey, I put it to you this way. You don't necessarily know what you're walking into until you get there. And after a year, you're just blessed to be there. And then after a while,
Trust me, he lives in the sewer.
Right.
He loves her.
Right.
He loves her in the sewer.
Right. I was the same way. I was like, it's R. Kelly. It's R. Kelly. You don't know R. Kelly? And then it was just like, no. I'm like, he's big. He's huge. Then the next week, they'd be like, hey, can't you play Little John? And I'm like, Chappelle just did Little John all last year. But
Okay.
SNL is always a year behind with how you want to shine. And then after a while, you're like, all right, I get it. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. So either you're ready to go or you're ready to stay. But I think they have a hard time with the whole, African-American thing and just, because they love the funny. They fall in love with the funny. But then you don't necessarily have anybody that can write your point of view. So it's up to you. So you go in the room and you try